There are two mindsets that look very similar but get you to almost opposite places. See, one mindset will get you to a place where you will always feel empty. You'll never feel full, no matter what you do. In fact, you'll do everything that looks right, that seems right, and you won't even notice that that's a part of this flawed mindset, because the problems don't arise until 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, whatever years down the road. And see, the second mindset has to do with personal excellence, has to do with being able to sit in the tension, sit in the pain, sit in the feelings of being lost. Find yourself, build faith in yourself. And this is the mindset of the martial artist. This is the mindset we talk about within the Viking Ninja philosophy, within my groups, within Austin Men's Development. How can we be the greatest version of ourselves, who we are, despite what the world is around us? Come on. Come on. Come on. So how this all started, why I'm doing this, and how this is going to be is I wanted to start doing things that mixed my Instagram with the photos and philosophical things. If you don't follow it, you should. It's really cool. The pictures that I take from traveling all around the world. And in those, there's these different philosophical sayings. And I wanted to integrate that in with what I was doing with my own coaching business with Austin Men's Development and my different teams that I have of people. If you're unfamiliar with that, check out Austin Men's Development. It's a Facebook group of men, and we have different coaching systems and platforms like Men's Development Excellence, you name it. But we teach in community, and it's an amazing thing, and we come up with a lot of different philosophies that we live by. And then I started training with the Viking Ninja team and myself as a martial artist and jiu-jitsu practitioner and all sorts of different other stuff. I wanted to integrate a lot of the philosophy that I heard from ESIC and from the different coaches who are all the Viking Ninja people. It all kind of came together. And I wanted it to come together in a way where I could broadcast the message consistently. And so I wasn't just making videos for YouTube. I wasn't just making videos for IGTV. I was making videos and content and pictures and philosophical whatever. All right. So this week we're going to spend talking about mindset. And there's a story to it, but we'll get to that in another video. But there's all different types of mindsets. In this, we are talking about the mindset of integrity. And so first, let's talk about this mindset that we all lean towards. And we live in this culture that is just so polluted by people wanting to be famous and looking good. And it's the right thing to do. And it's what you're supposed to do. And especially if we talk about spirituality, or especially if we talk about something political, or especially if we have a bunch of people agreeing with us and they're hungry and poor and oppressed or whatever, then whatever we're talking about that makes us look good and getting validation from the world is the right thing. And man, I see so many people get caught in this trap. And see, like all things like this, the difference is so subtle. The greatest lies always carry so much of the truth in them. See, we live in a world that wants you to hate yourself at the expense of yourself, all while looking good, all while feeling good, all while congratulating you. Instead of being somebody who has something, who has wealth, who has money, who has fitness, who has status, respect, integrity, all things that we've earned, we want to be somebody who looks like we have those things, who's gotten the result of those things without building the person behind it. And it's a trap of self-hate because we suppress ourselves to look good for other people. And when we do that enough times, for a long time, when we build our self-worth, our presentation of self, our self-esteem, how we have relationships, how we interact with people based off of that, in our culture of narcissism, in our culture of look at me, in our culture of want, get, have, we never really build the fulfillment within or the empowerment within. In fact, there's a whole nother series of videos and whatnot that I'm working on that have to do with power, disempowered, powerless, and empowerment. Just remember that for later. And see, what's sad about our mindset is now we have a culture of people. who would never want to have to work for being their better selves, who would never want to have to work to having the best relationships, who would never want to have to work to having the best body, the best mindset. See, if we live this way too long and we keep exercising this muscle, we suppress ourselves. And this is where that self-hate comes in. This is where we aren't valuing ourselves. We're actually devaluing who we are and saying what we want and expressing to look good and make it look good and make it look good. This doesn't make sense. And make it look good because everybody agrees upon it and says it's a spiritual thing and we're great people because we helped the starving children of some place where we'll never actually get to see them or know if our dollars do anything, because the political cause we supported is the most spiritual and we do yoga on the side. It's really getting to the point where if people talk about spirituality and what's good and this sort of open-mindedness, whatever, which are all good things, they're pretty much assholes at this point. Okay. Enough hate. So where do we want to go? What do we want to do? Who do we want to be? And see, this is the tough thing. And this is where we see things crossing over with Austin Men's Development, where we see things with guys in my group and their own evolution. And we see things in this experience that I'm having with the Viking Ninja team of fitness and mind and body and alignment of all these things, is that the who we want to be doesn't have to have a definition. The who we want to be doesn't have to mean anything to the world around us. And I don't mean that as that we don't need to care about the world around us. It's very valuable. But the who we want to be, the thing within us which propels us, which gives us ambition, which makes us want to be heard, which makes us want to be seen, which makes us want to be cared for, which gives us the meaning of a hug, which gives us the meaning of a smile, a friendship, a person listening, which gives us the meaning of the pain that we feel in the experience of life and the pain that we feel perhaps when we're going through a workout or testing our bodies and testing our minds and thinking within that and getting to know that side of us that feels pain, wants to quit, that unearths the doubt within us and brings us to the surface, the side of us that we don't see. That when we have that, it doesn't matter who we are to the rest of the world. It matters that we can be who we are and hold that. And I know this from coaching a lot of people who are like, okay, that sounds like some really great theoretical stuff. But straight up, when guys go through divorces or when guys go through, not being able to talk to women, or when guys lose their jobs and they get laid off, when you are challenged in your life at a point where you hit a wall and nothing makes sense, you're going to have to be in your skin and you cannot go anywhere else. One of the things for me that was so important in that whole journey was working out with Isak, working out with his philosophy, and not just in a physical way, because I have trained physically with tons of people for over 10, 12 years. Some of the best people in the world. But what was so different about that experience was I was training my body and mind. And at a time where my body and mind were falling apart. Now, I say this all the time. We run from pain in our culture. We're afraid of pain in our culture. But what it means to have integrity, and what it means to have integrity not just mentally and through your personality, but what it means to have integrity through your body, through your life, through your habits, through your lifestyle, through your choices, means that you have sacrificed, means that you are willing to feel pain, that you are willing to be misunderstood, you're willing to be confused, because your expression and your communication of yourself may not be what other people want to hear, but it is what you are. And that is the act of self-love. That is the counter to the world that wants you to hate yourself. Now, I know that a lot of people are watching this and, whatever. Maybe it influences you, maybe it doesn't. But if this spoke to you, you need to act. If this spoke to you, you need to get into action. And part of those actions is, one, if you live in Austin, Texas, you should be training with Isak and Aaron and Nate. It's really good. It's really good stuff. And man, right now, it's so specialized and awesome. I mean, it's good stuff. And number two, if you live in Austin, Texas, you should be a part of my men's development groups, and you should be actively working on this, because this is what we do. And if you live internationally, it's even better, because our teams that we have through Men's Development Excellence, they started out internationally 12 years ago. And from those groups, we grew an amazing group of men that actively live and work on this. That they don't care about being popular, they don't care about being the best, that what society defines them as, but they care about being their definition of who they are today, where they are today, where they're at, and showing that to the world. Without shame, without embarrassment, without pride, without delusion, without self-righteousness, but with who they are. And man, that is that boring, dull thing when compared to the flash Instagram culture. But 6 months from now, 1 year from now, maybe 10 years from now, that's going to be the thing that's miles ahead, that's incomprehensibly far away from the person who is always chasing that bright, shiny object, getting the validation from people that they don't know so that they could fill the void within themselves. And that's why you should choose the action of the mindset of integrity.